Okay, this makes me very nervous. 15,000 people and 1,000 subscribers and you have been monetized, but the only way to go was up because everything was zero. Hey guys, that's just a few clips of my highs and lows and the stories that I'm gonna share in this YouTube video today. I'm so glad you're here. I'm Anna, if we haven't met yet. And this video has reflection on me starting something new as a pre-empty nester, what I think about it, what I've learned in the past year as far as blogging and YouTube. I've started several other things, learning to play the guitar, baking with sourdough, running the farthest I've ever ran. There's a couple other things in there, but today I'm going to focus on this because I want to show you where I've been, show you what I've learned, and I know there's a whole community of bloggers and YouTubers out there who are wondering, well, what did you do? What did you do? And so I hope this inspires and brings some realization to the extra time that you might have as a pre-empty nester and some options that you might have for some ways to be creative and to learn and to grow. So let's dig right into this self-reflection time with me. Well, it's been 1 year ago that I hit publish on my first blog post. I have learned a lot. I have failed. I have fixed things. I have grown. I've had fun. I've had frustrations. And I'm excited to tell you about my past year blogging as a pre-empty nester. 4 things that I've learned from it. I'm going to share some stories along the way and just give you an inside peek at all the things that have been going on with it in the past year. If we have not met before, I'm Anna from Keep It Simple Anna Sue. I have a YouTube channel, which the whole purpose of the YouTube channel was to point people over to my blog. And turns out that's not a huge conversion rate, but also YouTube is its own thing. I did not know, but it's very exciting. I started YouTube in June of 2024 for the purpose of, like I said, sending people to my blog, thinking that would help the blog grow. Then I found out people make money on YouTube. And although I do not make any money yet, I see the potential. I would love to get there. Right now, I'm at about 330 subscribers. YouTube requires that you have 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 watch hours to be monetized. Monetized was a word that I did not know when I started this. Monetized means you make money from the ads or other means on these platforms. So same thing with blogging, same thing with YouTube. Okay, let me just talk a little bit about blogging. This started out with me reading my every Sunday newsletter from Dave Ramsey. I get that every single Sunday, and when I opened up the newsletter, it had an article about 25 ways to make extra income, a side hustle. The whole reason I wanted to pick up on another side hustle was because I had a deep passion. I don't know if that's the right word. Urgency. Some things that popped up in our world and it kind of changed my outlook on a few things, but I wanted our house paid for. And I thought, yeah, I can, okay, blogging was on the list and I thought I could write. I mean, I can do that. I thought that's what blogging was. I thought people, drafted up a Google Doc and boom, that was blogging. It's embarrassing to say. I had no clue. But that was the original reason why I started it. I wanted to help pay off our home. I didn't want to do it in 10 years. I started looking 7 years and I was like, no, 5 years. And then I call it our God-sized goal, but I wanted that done in about 2 years. I wanted, we don't have any other debt, and having that total financial freedom was just, I don't see either one of us making life changes after it happens, but it was just like I said, an urgency. I can't explain it exactly without going into all the details, at which I'm not. But anyhow, I thought, okay, yeah, I can do blogging. I can do this. So that was kind of in January of 2024. It took about 3 months to decide that I was going to do it. There was a 7-day email list that came through to get you into blogging and making money. And I thought, 7 days, yeah, I could do this simple step. I did days 1, 2, 3, simple, simple, simple. Day 4, that's all right, just build a website. I was like, blogging's a website? I know, again, you guys are probably thinking, what? But I had no idea that blogging actually required you to have a website. I was like, well, I can't do this. I don't know. I signed up for 2 things and looked at it, and it was just completely foreign to me. I never had any experience in building a website. I barely even got on the internet, and when I say that, it is absolutely true. My friends and family who know I'm doing this were absolutely shocked, because I'm one of those people who put my phone away and never even go back to it. It's just not something that is a love for me, so it's not something that I gravitate to. But anyhow, right when I thought, okay, this is not the side hustle for me, I happened upon a cinnamon roll recipe that was on a website called Farmhouse on Boone. And at the top, it said, interested in blogging, see how I brought my husband home from work, something like that. Yeah, wouldn't that be fantastic? I'm excited for their family. I don't think my husband really wants to come home from work. But I could ask him, and that would be amazing if that could happen. And I thought, you know what, I'm going to give it a chance. So I stewed over it for a couple weeks, because you had to pay for the course. And although it's a very affordable course compared to lots of other ones, for me, my goal was paying off our home. So spending any money elsewhere seemed to go against the whole process of what I was trying to do. But I did it. I purchased it. My oldest son was like, what are you waiting for? Just purchase the course. So I purchased the course exactly a year ago. It was over my spring break, so I was home, and I binged the course. I worked. I have a huge respect for people who build websites, for bloggers. I can't get over the fact that they come up with idea after idea for 9, 10, 15 years. I can't believe that I actually built a website. I was completely, I didn't cry because that sounds ridiculous, but I did think, I'm not going to do this. I have a full-time job. I even have a side job. My husband has a fantastic job. But I still had this deep goal, this why of why I was doing this. So I picked my head up and I was like, you're going to learn from this. You are going to learn. You can do anything for 1 year. That's what I kept telling myself, because turns out you don't make any money in blogging. There are people. I've heard about them. I've read about them. Oh, they're like in 6 weeks, fully monetized, making $10,000 a month. And I'm excited for them. However, what I've learned is that for most people, it takes at least 1 year to become monetized, and then it may take 2 to 3 to 4, 5 more years, 3 on average, to get a full-time income. Okay, one more thing I wanted to add to this. Talking about money is a little bit awkward, but I still think it's a celebration and something that I want to know when I'm researching about this. It took me 8 months to get monetized, and that was with an ad company called Journey. Once I got monetized, though, it took me over 3 months to get a check in the mail based on my paid views, which are pretty low and still pretty low, but growing, ups and downs. They were growing, now they're back down. But that paycheck, and I'll just tell you, is $121, and I was super excited. My husband, my boys celebrated with me, and it was worth celebrating. And it took a lot of time and effort to get that, but what it gave me was a glimpse and a perspective and a hope that yes, this can happen, this is doable, and to reflect and to keep moving forward. So I don't have all the specifics of that. That's just, I do, but I'm just not real comfortable sharing them. But that gives you just a general idea of basically how I made my first $100 as a blogger. And I just know that's a question that people get asked a lot. So it does feel weird talking about money, but also I think it's something that's encouraging, or also you may be like, that's not worth it for me. So there's that info. And all the while, you have to treat it like a full-time job. So I'm going through this list. I have a full-time job. At this point, I had a senior in high school, graduated now. I have one 16 getting ready to be 17, so I'm still driving him around. He's not driving himself. But I thought, yeah, I can do anything for a year. I can get up before I go to work. I can put in the hours in the afternoon. My kids aren't little. They're at practices and things like that, so I can do this. And I did. In this past year, I'm absolutely blown away with how little I know about what people do, how little I knew about the internet, website building, blogging, YouTube. I can't believe all the things. I know a lot of people do know all of these things, and they have this great mindset going in to say they're going to start it. They've maybe read blogs, or they were on Pinterest, or they had experience with Instagram and Facebook and all of that stuff. Nope, none of that for me. And still, I'm not doing any of that, but I have started, I say any of that, most of it. I have dug in deep with Pinterest, because that's a huge search engine, and I would love to get traffic from there over to my blog. At this point, actually, let me get my notes here. I had zero, so I took the course. Let's start with that. I took the course, set up my website. It took me about 2 weeks to do that, putting in lots of hours, lots of time, and I don't want to do that again. That was hard. I went from 0 post, and starting in April of 2024, until now, I now have 173 posts. They include things, recipes, tips for your daily life, outdoor things. There's a lot with that. I think I am a lot. I'm in my 40s and I have a whole lot of life experience. And one of the biggest things is that they say to niche down. That means to find just one thing that you're really, really good at and go with that. I have not exactly found my niche. Now on YouTube, I think I'm figuring out that people are wanting to know about pre-empty nesting. And what I've learned is that there wasn't anything for pre-empty nesters. I have searched, I've had these conversations with some other parents. I have found out that a PEN, P-E-N, pre-empty nester is something that I couldn't find out there. So about a week ago, now we're a year into blogging, about a week ago, 2 weeks maybe, I decided to create the term PEN, pre-empty nester. There's empty nesting, there's nesting, there's parents of toddlers, teenagers, all of this. There's really not a lot of stuff on teenagers either. I really struggled to find anything for that. Mine are getting out of that now. And I think people like somebody who's in the season, who's relatable. I'm definitely a pre-empty nester. What I classify that is your kids are driving themselves. They're independent financially for the most part, and they take care of most of their own things. Now, as a family unit, we do a lot of like team things together. I say team, obviously I love sports. So, people do their own laundry, but if you see something needs to be done, just do it. People, we all have different roles and responsibilities in our house, but the biggest role is looking to one another to see, what do you need? How can I help? And that's huge for freeing up the time for doing this. So pre-empty nester is this age, I'm in my 40s, but it just depends on the age of your kids, because it's this independency that they have. Your home's still very much fully alive with children and people, but then you're not running them everywhere. You're not, financially they're figuring it out. They're working. They're responsible for their schoolwork and different things like that. And you're kind of the facilitator, the helper, the, encourager. If they need anything, letting them know. But that's kind of this pre-empty nesting stage. It hit me in a way that I felt like, bam, just that empty. I couldn't describe it as, was I sad? What was it? Now, not everybody's probably going to feel sad, because they're going to be like, whoa, my kids are driving. I have to do this, and this. I didn't feel like that. I felt like, whoa, what? This is great. I felt excited. I felt delighted that my kids were doing these things, but also I recognized that I had this feeling that I wanted to recognize, but not really sit in it, because I didn't love that feeling. And turns out that blogging and YouTube have been a huge part of filling that. Number one, my kids have become my biggest cheerleaders for this. They have laughed with me. They have encouraged me. They have been my biggest supporters, my first subscribers, and they have seen me grow. And it's kind of like I'm seeing them grow with all these things at this stage in their life, and I'm growing too, which is I think very important for life. I think there's always room to learn, always room to grow. And number two, when there's those times that it's absolute quiet, this gives me something to work on. And I know for a lot of people it is a hobby, and it kind of, I guess it would sound like one, but for me, I really am treating it like a full-time job. I'm treating it that way because I want it to, make money that way. I would really like to see it grow more and more and more. And that's another point that I have learned about, are the highs and lows of this. I'm going to go with all the good growth first, and then I'll tell you about some of the lower points of this. And also, if you can't tell, I'm kind of nervous talking so much, but I'm trying this method. So I'll backtrack. 0 posts in my life to 173 posts in the year. I went from 0 views on my website, because I built it, put it out there. 0 views to 7.7 thousand views was the peak last month. I guess I might as well throw in the tank. Then it went straight back down to 3.3 thousand. I don't know what that is. So anytime somebody goes to my site, checks out a recipe, spends some time on there, Google Analytics tracks it. And obviously the more traction you get on your website, the more that it would make money for you. So I really need those views to go up. Keep it simple, AnnaSue.com. Go over there and just spend some time scrolling on it. As far as Pinterest goes, again, zero, started at the very bottom line. I had been on Pinterest before. It was 8 years ago when we were building our house, and I had gotten on Pinterest to get some ideas. Personally, that was it. That was the only time in my life. So I hadn't been on there for 8 years. I learned how to start a business account on there. I went from 0 followers to 102 followers right now. Thank you to those followers. I went from 0 to 133,000 views. Now, a view can just be somebody scrolling through and seeing it, but still, celebrate that. And then I have created over 865 plus Pinterest pins. So that's me taking pictures of food or creating them for an article that might not be about food and that I might not have an exact image for. I use Canva to create some images, and I think it's worth celebrating. Obviously, I mentioned this already, I built a website from scratch. In November, I upgraded my site. I purchased a new theme for my site that was more expensive, and I paid for help to install it because I was so overwhelmed by the first time. And I thought, yeah, it's worth it for me to help with the installation of this new theme. Since the past year, I have taken 2 blogging courses. I did the Farmhouse on Boone course, and then I did a Pine and Prospect Home blogging course. And it was Farmhouse on Boone was teaching all the steps, and she's actually not even offering that course anymore. But Pine and Prospect Home, I think, does. She doesn't teach you how to build the website and everything. What she is an encourager. And she really did encourage me. And I listened to that over and over because as somebody who's starting from 0, I needed that encouragement. And let's see, I've taken 1 YouTube course. That was also a Farmhouse on Boone. Again, completely naive to what YouTube was, but now I have a general idea of what it is. I'm not a year into YouTube. I'm still obviously very new to it. I have so much to learn. I'm very nervous right now just doing this video. It feels overwhelming. My neck still kind of got those hives on it. I'm just talking to the camera. I know that, but my mind, still makes me a little bit nervous. Even though this is exciting, I'm excited to share with you what's happened in the past year of this new thing as a pre-empty nester. As far as YouTube goes, that hasn't been a full year, but I could still go ahead and tell you where I'm at. I went from 0 to 343 subscribers, and 0 to 119 videos. 119 videos. You would crack up. My very first video ever was about making pancakes, and I didn't have a tripod. I didn't have a microphone. I had to stand in a squatting position for the whole video, stack the phone up on books. I got my husband's garage light out of the garage and brought it in to video me, or to bring some light into the kitchen when I was doing the video. But I've learned so much over the 119 videos that I've done. Although now that I'm this far into it, I found out research that people say at about 6 to 8 months into it, people get monetized. I feel so far away from that right now. It's like every subscriber is encouraging, and then you get encouraged by other people getting monetized and things, but then you also feel far away because you're thinking, well, I'm at that point. I wonder, what is it? The analytics? Is it me? Is it my niche? What is it about it? Something to talk about also is, how have I done this? How have I treated this as a full-time job when I have a full-time job? Well, I will tell you this. My new normal for this season is getting up very early, about 2 hours before I have to be at work. I get up during that time. I have a morning routine, and routines are very important. Routines should be mindless. They should be doable. It should be something you are capable of doing every day. And part of my routine is get up, get dressed. I read my Bible first, and then I get in a workout, and then I sit down on the table and I work until it's about time to throw my lunch in my bag and get out the door for work. Being in this pre-empty nesting season, having children who are responsible, who drive themselves, who have alarms they wake up to, that's really allowed for me to do this. If my kids were little, I see a lot of moms doing this, and I know they've got routines and methods figured out to do this, and I'm proud of them because I see how much work it is. And if I was not in this season of life, I don't think I could be doing this because of the time and the energy that goes into it. Then when I get home from work, typically, when I started this, both of my kids were still in school, sports, driving. So I would have a couple hours before they would get home to do this. My husband works, so he wouldn't be home either. So I could sit down and really, really work on it during that time. Why have I done this? Why have I thought that I need to get up extra early, put in 30 hours a week on this? Well, like I said, it's my why. I really wanted to help pay off our home faster. And then I'm already committed. I didn't know you wouldn't make money for a year doing blogging, but I don't want to give up. I'm way too committed at this point. I'm too many blog posts in, too many videos in to give up. It's just not me. It's not my personality to give up. It's going to change for me in this next year. That's part of why I wanted to come on here. I wanted to do some reflecting with you guys on here together about how it will look a little bit different for me in this next year. But at this point, I don't want to give up on it. I want to see it grow. I get comments from people. They're like, that, thanks for sharing that. I needed that encouragement. And that is what it's about. And yes, I do want to make money for the time and the energy and the effort that goes into it. But also, I don't want to give up, and I want to keep meeting the needs of people. I'm hoping this pre-empty nester, I don't know if it's like a series, but niche, I really hope that people can start getting in the comments and building a community, because I think there's a lot of people in this season of life and we don't talk about it really. It's not like when your kids are babies and you go to a class together and you have lots of options for stuff like that. One, you don't have time to talk about being a pre-empty nester beforehand because you're go. There's sports, there's travel teams, there's being the team mom, there's planning for the extra events, there's regularly providing for your family food, meals, whatever, getting to the sports. It's like you barely get home before you run out the door. So there's no time to talk about any of this. But when this hits and the brakes get put on this routine that you've been living in for so long, it'll hit you. And I think it'll hit each person a little bit different. But if you're like me, I'd really love to start a community of people just sharing what they do, what they've learned, how this is working for them, to keep that positive spin on thing. I think something else I've learned is it's a new normal. Renew your mind every day. Remember who you are. Remember the biggest goal is to love God and to love other people. You're still very much a homemaker. Doesn't matter if you're male or female or who it is in the home. When you want your home to be a place that people come to and you want to feel relaxed and comfortable when you get there, that's being a homemaker. Just to keep that very simple and keep that perspective. But will I keep on doing this? Yes, I am definitely committed to see where this goes for 3 to 5 years. Now, I can't say that something won't happen where that stops me, like a life situation or something, but I definitely plan on continuing to do this. I think that, one, it's grown me as a person because I've learned so much about what other people do with blogging and YouTube. And I said I had no experience with YouTube. I did watch Dude Perfect with my kids, and we actually got to go see them when they came to a place here local, and I love what they're doing. Good job, Dude Perfect. I've just learned so much and such a respect for other people. Two, this is a godsend for me. I started this as a way to help pay off my home, finding out that that would not happen. You may not even make money for a long, long time, but I know that God gave me this at the right time and the right season because of being in this pre-empty nester season. It was going to be figuring out what's new in this shift in my life and having this extra time. And being the person that I am, I'm a kind of a go getter. You know, when I sit down at 9:30, I'm done for the night. But until then, I wear myself out. I don't say yes to everything. I say no to a lot of things, but what I say yes to, I fully commit to. Third thing, I think, you know, reasons why I would keep doing it is I want to see it through. I want to see how much it can grow. I want to see where it could go. Our house isn't paid off yet, so I want to see if we can take that and apply it to some things. I would like to travel a little bit more, and you know, if there's a vacation opportunity that pops up, I'd like for us to have the money, to extra money, to be able to go to some place that we would like to go to. And let's see, a third thing. Okay. A fourth reason, I think I said a third, but I think I'm on to the fourth. I've lost track. I've been talking to you guys for a long time, and if you are still with me, you're amazing. Thank you for being with me. I think a fourth reason that I would keep on going with this is that I'm just at the beginning. I don't know what God has in store as far as this goes, but I'm going to reflect with you in a minute on some changes that I want to make for this upcoming year in blogging and YouTube. And I'm hoping to see big growth from it, big growth. So I want to see where it's going to go. Whew. Okay, why do I get hives? I get them anytime I'm nervous. And this makes me very nervous. I'm getting better at it. But the good news is I could be talking in front of only 22 people, or, Lord willing, this thing takes off overnight and it's 15,000 people. That would be absolutely amazing. Some mornings I wake up and I think I'm going to look at it and it's going to be 15,000 people and 1,000 subscribers and you have been monetized, but it's not yet. Soon, hopefully. Okay, let's talk about the downs. For me, the only way to go was up because everything was zero. Never had a website before, never made a post before, never made anything on Pinterest before, and never tried blogging before, never had a YouTube site before. So everything was at zero. So I had green arrows at first, but there's a lot of days where the arrows are red and it just reminds you that nobody's looking, nobody's here, and nobody's checking out this recipe. And that can be very discouraging. And I just try to remind myself that you're gonna treat it like a job, you're gonna commit to it every day, you're gonna wake up and you're gonna do this, you're gonna fight the imposter syndrome, which is what's happening right now to me, I think. Why am I doing this? I'm completely unqualified, but I know there's some of you out there who might be a pre-empty nester and maybe you wanna hear this. Maybe you're interested in blogging or YouTube yourself. And you know, would I recommend that you do it? Absolutely. I think it's something that it's a good creative outlet. It's going to help you grow. It's going to help you learn. It's going to connect you to your kids at this stage because they already know all about this stuff. And maybe you already do. Maybe I'm a little odd by not knowing. I don't know, but I think that you could enjoy it for sure. And I mean, there's people who just, they're natural with the camera. They just set that thing up, they talk in their cars, and boom, they reach people every day. They give a good message and they get people hooked right in. That could be you. And I'm doing it right now. You got to punch fear in the face and hit record. That's so important, because trust me, you're going to feel unqualified. You're going to feel like you don't know what you're doing. Probably won't. You're gonna feel like your video is terrible. It probably will be. I mean, let's just be real. It will probably be a terrible video for a lot of times. You're gonna learn and grow. Mine are. I mean, I say terrible loosely. Like, I'm proud of them. I created it. I made it. I'm not embarrassed by it, but does it make me nervous for other people to see it? Yes. Do I see room for improvement? Yes. Okay, let's talk about this next year and what's going to happen differently. So as far as my posting goes, I committed to 2 posts a week, which is about 8 posts a month. I did that April, May, June, July, August, September, October. I did that for the first 6 to 7 months. Starting in October, I was on break. I decided to double it. I wanted to push myself and see if I could do that. So instead of doing 2 posts a week, I did 4. Instead of 8 a month, I did 16. And I will tell you this, until this point, I knew I was going to commit to that. I was going to do 16 posts every month. So October, November, December, January, February, March, 6 months. I was worn out. That was a push for me, a huge push. Again, keep in mind, I have a full-time job. I have a side hustle job that I do on the weekends. And plus I have kids and a spouse and normal things. So getting up, I kept moving my get up time. The time that I woke up in the morning, I kept moving it to give me more time in the day to make it happen. But moving forward, I think what I'm going to try to do is back down to 8 new posts every month. So that's 2 a week. And then go back through, I guess at my first post, maybe I'm going to go back through and try to make them better. I have a lot of, dark pictures or words that don't really sound like me. Just as I was learning to write and things, I have a lot of posts that sound so formal. Maybe they don't just sound like me talking to you, and that's kind of hard to do with writing. I think when people look at a recipe, they don't really care about you, they just care about the recipe, and that's fine. That's how I was too. I just wanted to get to the recipes. Another thing, so I'm going to go back through and try to improve on the 173 posts that I've done so far, but then continue to put out new content. So if there's anything that you are interested in me writing about, if you check out keepitsimpleenessy.com, just put that in the comments below. I would be happy to look at it and see if it's something that I could write about for you guys. Another thing that's going to be different is, I changed this recently, but when I put my recipes on my posts, I always, people put them at the bottom. That gets people to read longer, see all the extra info, and then read at the bottom. But I've put my recipes all at the top. So I want to make sure I put my recipes at the top. So when you go on there, you can read everything below, but if you just want to get straight to the recipe, you can. And then another thing I'm going to try to do is interlink more of my post to connect them. So say you're reading about a morning routine and I mentioned an afternoon routine. I want to link those together so you can easily go from one thing to another when you're on my post. I wanted to have more of my voice. I write a lot, trying to just be seen on Google, because if you put all this work into something but then it's never even seen, it's just it's discouraging, because you've put time and effort into it, and you want people to see how this works for you, and maybe it could work for them, maybe it could help them. So I definitely want it to be seen, but also still have my voice. Those are the biggest things with my blog that I'm going to do. As far as reflecting on YouTube, I'm not a year into YouTube yet. Sorry, hold on a second. Okay. Some things for YouTube that I want to work on, or maybe more videos like this where I'm just talking to the camera, but I had to actually Google where's the camera on my phone. I didn't know where to look at this phone. I've got it now, and then clearly my nerves have made me nervous, so I'm gonna have to just get past that. I'd like to do more videos like this. I'd like to do more of what they call evergreen content. So I'm still trying to, I'm me. Everything that you see on there, the recipes that I use, I cook for my family. I live in the country. I do outside things. I'm not making up scenarios to put on YouTube, but maybe not everybody wants to see those scenarios, or maybe how I vocalize them. I get nervous, so I'll skip words, or I'll not really sound like me. So I want to make sure that I'm relatable. I think I'm gonna try to focus on, right now anyhow, this pre-empty nesting stuff, and trying to build a community of people who would want to just support each other during this time. So if I have the videos, maybe they can put in the comments what they would want to know about during this season, and maybe they can just chat with other people who are also in this season. Another thing with YouTube that I want to improve on would be obviously just the logistics. So my titles, they need to be improved on. My thumbnails, thumbnail's a new word for me. I didn't know that word until YouTube. So when you're scrolling through YouTube, the thumbnail is the picture that shows up. And that evidently is huge, because if people never click on your thumbnail, they're never gonna see the video that you've worked hard to put out there. And that's, right now when I'm recording this, that's a legitimate thought. Is anybody even going to see this video? Would anybody want to share it with anybody? Would anybody even hang with me for this long of a time? Typically, I don't have videos this long, but I have time right now. My kids are doing their own things. My husband's at work. I'm having a break from work, and I can just talk to you. I'm hoping that the more I talk right now, the better I'll get at feeling not as nervous, but it's not working right now. It is, but it isn't, if that makes sense. I'm gonna do a bigger reflection when I get to that 1 year mark on YouTube. I sometimes think, just hit record, just talk like people do in the car. And then my other part of me, where I'm trying to learn and grow, is like, yeah, but you need a perfect thumbnail, you need the perfect title, you need the hook, the intro, the body, you need a closer to make sure they don't leave you, that they just keep watching your videos, and how do you say and do all that, and should I have a script or not? And yeah, I think I need all those things. I think I need to do better at them for sure. But that is the fun part about it. I really think the biggest change is gonna be, I think, my mindset. I have just been like this, completely locked in, blinders on, putting into practice things that I've learned for blogging, trying to mostly focused on that. I wanna learn a lot more from YouTube. I need to do some online. Think Media is something that I've started watching. So I wanna implement what they're teaching and just see if I can grow it. It's like you want to see if it can happen. And I'm so excited for other people when it does happen, because I know, the time and the work that they put into it. It doesn't look like very much, and it looks natural. This is gonna sound bad, but when I started YouTube, I thought, all right, I can video myself washing dishes. That's not hard. Yeah, it does. It makes the dishwashing like 5 times longer than it normally would be. Or you have to figure out the camera. You have to get a tripod. You have to, do different things. You have to figure out how to even put a video together. I had no idea how to make space on your phone for all of this storage and stuff like that. But let me gather my thoughts. I'm going to push pause for a second because I'm not sure where I'm going next. Okay. I think I have talked plenty, and I want to kind of close everything out by saying, one, this probably would not be doable for me, the amount of hours and time that I put into it, without everyone pulling their weight around this house, without having supportive kids, supportive husband, and I don't think that it would be happening. And obviously, thank you to Farmhouse on Boone for helping, holding my hand and walking me step by step through how to set up a website, set up a blog, write, make content for people. And I just want to grow even more from there. I listen to that over and over again. I listen to Pine and Prospect Homes course over and over again. She's a great encourager. And now some of the biggest things I listen to are Think Media. He has some really good practical tips and advice that I'm hoping if I implement will work for me and help my YouTube channel to grow. And I said I could do anything for a year, and I think I definitely can do this for another year. I want to have a little bit more fun with it because, like I said, it's just been go, 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 so much learning. I think I've got so much more learning to do. I don't see my hours decreasing at all. I just see the workload shifting a little bit, like some of the things that I mentioned earlier. So if you like talking about pre-empty nesting and you found this encouraging or interesting or anything at all, hit like, share it with somebody, hit subscribe, and I'll have a video playing next about spring reset as a pre-empty nester. And I will see you guys next time.